Hey, Shalom, can you guys hear me okay? You guys let me know in the chat if you guys can hear me okay. Because I'm going to be absolutely devastated if you haven't been able to hear me all this time. That'll be straight robbery. Y'all let me know in the chat. Can you hear me? It's a robbery. Test, test. Can you hear me? Test, testing, test. However long you been on. All right. I apologize for the delay. I'm going to go ahead and continue on because I'm not sure what's been going on. Because on one hand, it does sound like there was no sound. As of maybe the last 5 minutes, it sounds like there has been sound. But we've been on for about 35 minutes, so that's out of control. If you haven't heard all that wisdom I was kicking down all this time. So we'll see. Let me just do a quick check real quick. It is what it is. Nah, man, that's all bad. All right, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start over because it's important to do this right. Okay, that's just out of control that it hasn't been going through like that, but it is what it is. Disappointed, but it is what it is. All right. So let me go ahead and that's crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. All right, no worries. It is what it is. Let's see. And I'm going to move that for right now. All right. Wild, I tell you. It's absolutely wild. All right. Let's start over. All right. That's wild. All right. Y'all forget. Don't mind me. I got to reset myself internally and everything. So, because definitely a challenge when you have a technical difficulty like that, when you've been really in it and then the audio is wrong. Microphone's unmuted. Everything's all that was good. And I have no idea why I want it to be like that. So, Dre Brew, I appreciate you for letting me know what's going on for me to kind of investigate further and go from there. So that's just absolutely wild. So y'all forgive me. It is what it is. So that being said, go ahead and share this on your socials. Share this in your contact page. All right, your contact list. Share this out you got an email list, you got a WhatsApp group, go ahead and send it out right now. I'm gonna go ahead and pray again. I did pray, but we'll pray one more time, and then we'll go right back into this so you can kind of understand what I'm even talking about. Okay. So, Abba Yahuwah, thank you for this time that my family and I have this opportunity to fellowship. We do thank you for the breath of life and for watching over us and keeping us. We do thank you for the opportunity to fellowship this evening. We thank you for provision. We thank you for divine health, healing, wholeness, and soundness of mind. And I just lift up everyone that's hearing the sound of my voice right now. I ask for you to bless them and keep them. And thank you for allowing me to catch this before it was too late. It is what it is, but I appreciate you working with me and guiding me through to correct the issue and to deliver this important information to our people, because it's very important. And we thank you for this all being done now in the name of your Son, our King and Messiah, Yahushua Mashiach. Amen, amen, and hallelujah. All right, so I'm glad y'all can finally hear me now. It's kind of whack that things were the way they were. I will have to probably try to see about editing this in the future, so it flows right. But the bottom line is this, is that artificial intelligence is taking entry-level jobs. And there was a report that was released today from Stanford that essentially outlined this issue. Okay, it outlined this issue, and we're going to go through it. Now, the first thing I had did, the links are still there. You can see them right there. The link is first and foremost to the actual PDF document. It's about 56 pages long. The second link is to a Fortune magazine article link that kind of outlines the high-level talking points of the issue, right? And so what it comes down to is it's absolutely true. Artificial intelligence is taking entry-level jobs, and this is part of the reason why I'm advocating for the Hebrews in Tech ministry to essentially equip our people with the skills needed for today. And again, we're doing the training. We currently have about little under 15 slots left. So if you're looking at joining us, I really want to say I think we have like 12 or 13 slots left. But email me, give me a call on our office phone. If you have any questions, there's options and plans of it. Don't let this opportunity slip by, because this cohort that we run through is going to continue on in other paths. So really, the more people we can get in the pipeline, like I said, we have about 12, 13 slots left. All right. And so you're going to want to go ahead and take advantage of that. All right. The training's $250, and that covers you getting your official student study guide. This is an employment boot camp, and you're also going to be able to get a exam voucher at the end of the training. So not only will you get a certificate of completion through me, you'll also get a exam voucher. The caveat is you have to complete the training, miss no more than 3 sessions. You're not going to get a exam voucher and you didn't complete the course. All right. So let's jump right into this. Now, I will see if I can do it real quick. First and foremost, here is the article. It states, first of its kind, Stanford study says artificial intelligence is starting to have a significant and disproportionate impact on entry-level workers in the United States. And then the actual report is here. And this is something that I think everyone that has a job or looking to get a position needs to look at. All right. I think this is mandatory reading to go through. Okay. All right, let's drive on. Let's drive on. And I won't rush it. So let's just get into this. All right, so what I ended up doing was I ended up creating a PowerPoint presentation to kind of go over the high levels of this thing, because we're not going to read the whole 56-page PDF document report. All right. So AI and entry-level jobs, what Stanford's new study shows. Canaries in the coal mine, 6 facts about the recent employment effects of artificial intelligence. This report was released today. That's why we going through it, okay? So the study at a glance, these are the authors on the top right, top left, all right? The data used, high frequency ADP payroll data, millions of workers, tens of thousands of firms through July 2025. So essentially, if you don't know, ADP is a payroll, HR payroll company. They handle the payroll of tens of thousands of companies, right? They use ADP, all right? The method, link occupational AI exposure to realize employment changes. And this covers between late 2022 through the present, okay? The goal, document 6 facts on how generative AI is reshaping employment in the United States. All right, so who's most affected? Early career workers, those aged 22 to 25 in the most AI exposed occupations. There was an experience of 13% relative decline in employment versus less exposed groups. And that's even after controlling for firm shocks. Firms being your corporation, your company, maybe Intel had a bad year or whatever. There's some type of a industry issue, supply chain issue. Taking all that into account, equalizing all that out, literally it's saying that there was a 13% relative decline in employment versus less exposed groups in relation to folks basically not getting employed because of artificial intelligence. Now, on the flip side, older workers and workers in less exposed fields remain stable and grew. So what that means is for all my older millennials and Gen X folks that have been around for a while, your marketability in the labor market is higher than it was previously, meaning companies and employers are going to be willing to pay you more money and or offer you a job role versus if you are fresh out of high school or fresh out of college with no experience and just debt, right? Let's keep going. Here it breaks down the divergence since late 2022 in highly exposed AI jobs. These are jobs that literally what it comes down to, we got some challenges. So if you were between the ages of 22 and 25, you experience literally a 6% decline in employability, especially for entry-level positions. Now, on the flip side, if you were an old head between 35 and 50, basically, right, you actually grew in employability. There was a 9% growth. There was a 9% growth in employment for those of you that are between the ages of 35 and 49. Okay. So let's keep going. We got to talk about the issue of automation versus augmentation. So entry-level declines are concentrated where AI automates tasks. So code generation, customer support scripting, right? Any type of job that can be automated, any type of position where it's like book knowledge and not experiential knowledge, it's a wrap. Okay, it's a wrap. Occupations where AI augments human work actually saw growth for entry-level workers. So therefore, there's a level of opportunity there for graduating from high school. You're just graduating from college, right? Any occupation where artificial intelligence does not automate but augments human work, that's where you want to be at, okay? And all this was measured using the LLM Claude query patterns, so on and so forth. All right, let's keep going. All right, employment adjusts first. Wages haven't yet. So what that means is that large differences show up in headcount, not compensation. Annual salary trends show little divergence by age or exposure. Possible wage stickiness. What that means is that these changes in the labor market when it comes to artificial intelligence, they're affecting the number of people hired, not your pay. Right? So if you're in a position that pays $27 an hour, if you can get that job, it's still going to pay $27 an hour. Right? They're not cutting wages. But as the slide says, based off of the report, not yet. And I don't believe that they should do that. All right, let's keep going. Robustness checks, not driven by shocks at specific firms or industries, not just about remote or amenable or strictly tech occupations, and exposure measures didn't predict similar patterns before late 2022. All that simply means is that in looking at these numbers and analyzing these figures, it was not an issue driven by different shocks in different firms or industries, and it wasn't about strictly tech work or remote work that dried up, right? And the exposure measures, they didn't predict similar patterns before we had generative AI pop on the scene. Okay, let's keep going. All right. Illustrative occupations, more exposed groups being software developers, coders, customer service representatives, translation service providers. If you're a receptionist, answering the phone, Star Labs, how may I help you? How may I direct your call? Those jobs are over with. It's a wrap. So that's a challenge I see because a lot of our people are coming through. You graduated high school and that's it. Or you didn't graduate from high school. You're a high school dropout, right? Maybe because you got pregnant or you got someone else pregnant and you had to go end up getting a job somewhere, right? It's a wrap. It's a wrap. All right. Less exposed, nursing home health aides, similar caregiving roles. I would even throw in there like possibly auto mechanic or anything you got to do with your hands, right? Construction work, blue collar, hard labor jobs, lifting the box. At least for right now, until they automate that, you're okay. But primarily in the report, it says nursing, home health aides, and similar caregiving roles. All right. So if you wiping somebody down, you feeding somebody, you doing all lifting, you doing all different things that happen in nursing or as a home health aide, you're less exposed to these issues. Okay. Let's keep going. Why now? Capabilities and adoption. All right. So AI capability leaps. It has grown in leaps by leaps and bounds. The FWE benchmark, which basically it measures the efficiency, effectiveness, and correctness of artificial intelligence learning language models. Okay. It shows that the capability of artificial intelligence, generative AI, went from only 4% in 2023 of effectiveness, efficiency, and correctness to 72% in 2024. So in 1 year, it's gotten from 4% to 72% for efficiency. All right. Now, I didn't even see this coming on this level because it's actually pretty crazy. Learning language model adoption at work reached 46% among U.S. adults by mid-2025. That's essentially by June of this year. Rapid diffusion enables substitution for codified knowledge in entry roles. So bottom line is if it's a cognitive type job where you're just reading something, you got the book knowledge, right? You read a book and you got facts and figures and things like that. That's going to be a problem. So generative AI has exploded because of its ability of really just kind of regurgitating that information, those facts and figures. Jay Highstyle says, what about the educational field? I think it's going to hit some people pretty bad because while I don't think, like, if you're a tenured instructor, you're an experienced instructor, I don't think it's going to affect you. I think we're going to see more computer programming. Let me say this right. We're going to see more computer-based training, CBT training. We're going to see more computer-based training with little artificial intelligence agents as your instructor. Where, like, I'm talking to you right now, it'll be talking to you like that. Right? So if you have, you're going to be like, oh, Jim AI, I have a question about this. I don't understand this issue. And it's going to go ahead and go doo-doo-doo, and then regurgitate and speak back to you like a Siri or a Grok or something like that, or Gemini. All these AI joints is talking back to you, right? To the point that you got folks having full-blown psychosis thinking that ChatGPT is my best friend. That's a problem. Says, I'm an administrator. I need more information. Just hit me up via email or give me a phone call. We'll talk. As an administrator, I think you'll be fine for right now on a tenure level, because I think those that are hit the most are going to be those in entry-level positions. So if you're an actual administrator for an institution or educational school or college, university, I think you'll be fine for right now. That's going to be a little ways off. But like I said, I think there's going to be more. There's going to be more, like, your CTO in your office is going to be pushing for computer-based training with some AI agent on it. And so it's going to be a lot of computer-based training with an AI agent teaching your class. That's realistically going to be the case. And so it's only going to be maybe at some higher level university or institution where they're going to be requiring someone with the experience, hands-on, not just you read it out of a book, right? So I think if you're mid-tier, mid-career, or senior, you're fine. But if you're entry-level, it's a wrap. Okay, let's keep going. Why are young workers hit hardest? AI substitutes more readily for codified knowledge learned in school. Like I said, you went to school, you went to college or university, great. Good on you. You can study real well, right? You can regurgitate some facts and figures and that kind of stuff, right? AI automated can do the same things, right? So what people got to really understand, and the reason why I'm passionate and even putting the amount of time and effort and energy to even do these lives like that, is because I see the writing on the wall. As someone that's been in tech and cyber and I'm, like I said, I'm not talking about, oh, I worked as a janitor at Microsoft and I'm a tech worker. No, I'm talking about real world experience, operations, and all kind of stuff, right? So bottom line is that AI substitutes more readily for cognitive knowledge, for automation. Okay. Now, AI is harder to replace experiential knowledge or tacit knowledge that accumulates with real world experience. Now, in jobs that don't require a degree and where experience pays off little, your experiential knowledge don't mean doo-doo squat. So, in other words, what it comes down to is, if you were unfortunately laid off from your job and you have all these years of experience in X, Y, and Z thing, widget, but you're going for a position or a job that doesn't require your degree and doesn't care about your experience, you're going to be hurting. Okay. So this is why, again, I'm talking with our people, again, young Black, Hebrew men and women that are getting into this job market. You 16, 17, 18, 19, getting out here, everything has changed. Everything has changed. And so for me, as an old head myself, I feel like it's incumbent upon me to reach back to the youth and try to give back, right? And maybe you're trying to upskill and change your career paths, right? You got to figure something out. This is what we're doing. Like, we got to figure something out. Okay, we absolutely have to figure something out because everything's changed, right? What this means for career entry. Again, that's you 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds. You just graduated from college or university, and you're over there thinking, okay, I got to go find me a job. Okay, listen closely. Like I said, hit that like button, share this with your friends. All right, share this with your WhatsApp groups or whatever you got going on. Share it. Okay. What this means for career entry is that there's going to be fewer on a massive scale. There's going to be fewer entry-level openings, right? And now the issue with that for our society is that it's going to put a constraint on the pipeline of future experienced talent, right? We got a problem. You were fooled and tricked into going to college and university. You spent all this money. You got student loan debt up your eyeballs, right? They on some 12, 13, 14% interest rate on tens of thousands of dollars of money, right? Congratulations. You got a degree and a ton of debt. You go to apply for a job and they say, I'm sorry, you don't have enough experience or you don't have any experience. That's what folks are facing right now. So with that being said, the issue with that is, how do you ever get experience if they don't hire you? Where are these entry-level positions at? So we're in a situation where the bottom line is that if there aren't any real entry-level positions for people without experience, but they're educated, they're proficient, but somebody has to give them a chance, right? Now, and I have an answer for that, especially within the Hebrew community and the Black community, all right? But on the flip side of that, experience now becomes more valuable in your ability to acquire a job or position or role, right? And also to command the dollar. So apprenticeships and on-the-job learning matter more. That's what I said in my previous live streams. You just going to college or university and getting a degree with no experience. All you did was waste 4 years of your life on top of having to work somewhere to get pay, to live, right? Only then to have a degree, debt, and to be rejected, told you don't have no experience. So I'm not anti-college or university, but you got to do it differently than we've done in the past. For probably 15, 20 years, folks of all ethnicities have been duped into going to college and going into debt. Because once the government began to start subsidizing the education and they began to subsidize and also offer loans, right? Deferred loans and all kind of stuff. What ends up happening? Every time the government gets involved, the economy then ups the prices on everything because, shoot, if Uncle Sam going to give me that tax money, if Uncle Sam going to subsidize me, I'm going to go ahead and ratchet the cost up. That's why you got $100,000 student loan debt right now, right? Moving forward, this is also important. Entry roles likely to evolve toward explicitly augmentative workflows. This is very, very important. Entry roles likely to evolve toward explicitly augmentative workflows. So there will be entry-level roles and positions, but what that means is that they're going to evolve to where it's going to require you to have some knowledge or experience with the different various learning language models and how to use them proficiently and effectively. You're going to have to be able to leverage those and show it. You have to be able to show that, oh yeah, I can use this and be efficient and effective in driving effectiveness in my position or my work role. You're not going to be able to just be, I have a college degree or I graduated high school. Do you got a job for me? That's not going to happen. All right, let's keep going. Strategies for workers. Target. You need to target augmentative niches, not automated. Automation will kill everybody, right? Automation is a wrap, okay? Augmentative niches are where you want to target. So human in the loop positions, quality assurance, client communications, domain specific reasoning, anything where you have to reason, rationalize, make a decision on a human level. You have to interact with humans, right? You have to all those type of human skills, right? You got to go down that path. Okay. You have to search for positions that can use generative AI to augment your work role, not replace it. Number 2, you have to build tacit skills or experiential skills. That means collaboration, problem solving, problem analysis and decomposition, tool orchestration. You're going to have to develop nuanced skills that require you to put in some effort. Okay. And then lastly, do this now, and I'm going to help you get there along the way. Show AI fluency with a portfolio of augmentative first projects, which means your resume is no longer going to be simply a basic resume. Your resume is going to have to show that you have knowledge or experience using generative AI in an augmentative fashion or way. That means you're going to have to show a project or show something you developed with generative AI to solve a problem or an issue, either for yourself or a family member or a company or any type of organization, your church, your whatever you got, whatever fellowship you belong to, whatever assembly you belong to, you're going to have to show something that can be reviewed. All right, let's keep going. And this is where we were last before I found out we weren't even have no audio going on. Okay. Strategies for employers. So we got to deal with the issues. Design workflows where artificial intelligence augments and not replaces juniors. Okay. You need to measure your return on investment relation to augmentation, not automation. You're going to automate what you can automate to save money and be more efficient and proficient. Got it. But as an employer, you want to design a workflow where artificial intelligence augments and does not replace. All right. And this goes into the next part. Create apprenticeship tracks and mentorship to transmit that experiential knowledge, right? That's what I'm doing right now. I'm giving you some knowledge and some experience. I'm passing it on to you, right? No matter what age you're at. And when we have our Get Certified Employment and Tech Plus Bootcamp, we're going to be doing it again there, right? I'm going to be passing down knowledge and information to you. I'm going to be passing down my experience to you, right? Case in point, when I was a kid, and this is something that we've kind of lost in our community, right? When I was a child, and this is a long time ago when children could actually go around and live and not be in a bubble box, right? I used to roam around my neighborhood. As long as I came in before the street light came on, I was good. Wasn't nobody tripping about where you at, right? I literally would just go around the neighborhood, play, look at caterpillars and all kind of stuff. And I remember one of our neighbors around the way, we used to call him the bicycle man. He was the bicycle repair man. If you was a kid and you had a bicycle, if you had a flat tire, or if your chain fell off, or if it was squeaking or rusty or whatever was going on, you would ride over to the bicycle man. Everybody knew him. He was cool. And he would go ahead and help you and all that kind of stuff. And I remember being a kid. I probably could have been no more than 5 years old, if that. Okay. I would go and hang out with this old man. He probably was like 40-something years old, maybe, right? Who knows how old that man was, right? But he took me under his wings and he taught me little things about how I could do basic maintenance on my own bicycle. And I'm like 5. And here I am now, a middle-aged man, still telling that story. That's how impactful it was that an older man in the community was able to pour into me to where giving me some skills, even though at that point in time, it was just basically how to change your bike chain and how to fix a flat tire and how to patch a tire and all that kind of stuff. It was still passed on to me from my elders, right? Community, within the Black community or whatever community you're part of, we all need to tap into our elders and those that came before us that can pour into us. That's what it comes down to. All right. The last bullet point here on this slide is avoid hollowing out entry pathways that feed tomorrow's senior talent. You can't hollow out that entry path. You can't sit there and be like, I'm gonna automate everything, AI everything, automate everything. I don't gotta pay nobody nothing, and you're gonna kill your profession, because none of this will be able to be passed on to the future generations, and it's just gonna cause more strife and chaos amongst our people, because you can't eat, you can't clothe yourself, you can't feed your children, you can't put a roof over your head for your children. You're over there living out your car or your van, right? And there's a gang of folks doing that right now. There's a gang of folks doing that right now. So if you're an employer, you cannot go down that self-centered path, that capitalist-driven, self-centered path of literally gutting every possible entry point into your profession because you want to save some shekels. That ain't it. All right. Going on further, right? Questions for employers in regards to policy, just basic open questions. How to support transitions without stifling productivity gains, right? You want to be productive. You want to be efficient in your corporation or your business. I get all that, but you got to find a way to support transitions. There has to be a pathway, right? You don't want to have that old head that's been on the job for 30 years. And it's like, okay, I appreciate you, but can we give an opportunity to the younger generation to come in, right? You can only be entry level for so long. Now, I know how these folks try to do us in these streets. They want to keep you like 25 years old, 26, 27, 28 years old, almost 30 years old, and they want to keep you in some entry level state, making minimum wage or like $15 an hour or $20 an hour or something like that. That ain't it. You only got a couple of years to remain in the entry level position before you level up and go to the next level. All right. So we all got to make sure that we keep progressing and moving, right? Invest in training for augmentative uses and on-ramps for work experience. All this is saying is that we got, those of us that are employers or we hire contractors to come in and do work for us, like we need to make sure that we're investing into a training pipeline for augmentative uses, not replacement. And that we incorporate some type of on-ramp and off-ramp for those that have work experience. All right. And then ongoing monitoring. All this is simply saying is that the authors of the report are going to track the updates as data refreshes over time, right? So they'll probably do a refresher in a couple of months to another year. All right. All right. And so now this part is just discussion, right? Where do you see AI augmenting versus automating in your field? That's the question for you that are watching right now. Where do you see artificial intelligence either augmenting or automating your field? I can see a little bit of both for me. All right. I can see a little bit of both. All right. What entry-level tasks should become apprentice experiences instead of being automated? These are questions we got to ask ourselves. What entry-level tasks should become apprentice experiences instead of just being fully automated. I know you can go ahead and pay $59.95 and have an AI chatbot do that position for you, but how could we make that into a more apprentice level type situation versus just automating it away completely? All right. We know eventually it's about to be fully automated, but let's not rush into it, right? And then what skills should schools emphasize to build experiential knowledge? Because see, what it comes down to is we're going to have to change things up, because currently the way we look at it in the American society and around the world, but definitely in America, is that your education is viewed as purely cognitive and not experiential or tacit. And we got to get to a place that when you go through school, it's not just book knowledge. Yeah, you know how to read and comprehend and study and got a good grade. It has to be that in you graduating from this high school or this college or university, you actually have experience. So that might have to look like, for college or university, every student that comes on board into your curriculum needs to be embedded with a company or corporation or institution. I don't care if it's state-run, government, federal, where they can also have hands-on experience, so that at the end of the day, when they graduate from your college or university and they got that certificate, they also can say, I have real-world experience. I interned, or I did some type of a program, skills program or training program or mentorship program or fellowship, something at company X, Y, and Z. That has to happen, okay? You feel me? Hopefully y'all feel me, all right? And then lastly, sources and for further reading, right? I'm not going to butcher this dude's name, but it's probably some Swedish dude, or what do you call that? Icelandic or something like that, right? Chandar and Chin, 2025. The report is Canaries in the Coal Mine, 6 Facts About the Recent Employment Effects of Artificial Intelligence, published by Stanford Digital Economy Lab. The coverage where you can find this at is Wall Street Journal, Axios, and Wired. This was published August 26, 2025. All right, so we're pretty much done. Before I close out, do we have any questions in the chat? Go ahead and ask them now. I'm open to answer your questions. We can have a conversation before we call it a good night. All right. I see here as I'm looking in chat, but like I said, talk back to me. I'm not going to bite. Jay Highstyle says teaching's being automated. Right now, the educational arena is looking for teachers with computer tech knowledge, right? So that being said, for those of you, like if you're an administrator or a teacher, instructor, professor, and you don't have tech background or knowledge, you got to jump on that yesterday, okay? And so again, the YouTube channel you're watching right now is the Biblical Hebrew Awakening channel. You're also possibly watching this on Hebrew Connect TV, which is a social platform very similar to YouTube that just primarily solely caters to Hebrew videos and content, right? This is important. This is important for our community to learn these skills before it's too late. My people, we're not going to be able to be undereducated, underemployed, and going further. It's not happening. And part of the issue I have a fire about me in regards to this is because when I went out to California, right, there was some business I had to take care of in California, right? Everybody I saw that was homeless was Black. Now, I know depending upon where you go in the country, it's going to be different. Like if you're in Colorado, you're going to see a bunch of European or Caucasians out here with a sign, okay? But out in California, Everybody I saw was a Hebrew. They ain't the way. They ain't it, fam. What's going on with us? That we are the face of homelessness in California. The reality is, if you are in California, you gotta leave anyway. You gotta escape. California ain't it. Okay. And that's from someone who was born and raised in California. I'm a California native. I'm not no transplant. I'm a California native, born and raised. And first off, California traditionally, before they start messing with the weather and stuff, is very beautiful. Great weather. Hot is nobody's business sometimes in the summertime, but in general, it's great. It's a great place to be. That being said, the politics of California has destroyed it. The only folks really out there that control everything and run everything are super liberal, straight, making $150,000, $200,000 a year, $250,000. It's basically like the whole state is like Gotham City, where the super duper rich are basically living large, but like 90% of everybody else is broke as hell, homeless, living under a bridge in some tent city. It's for real. That's I'm telling you. But that's for another time. All right. I don't see any other questions. Y'all all silent all of a sudden, right? It's all good though. That being said, to make my point even more clear, and this is the reason why I had to go ahead and I had to revisit this and fix it when the audio was messed up. This PowerPoint presentation that I did, I created 100% with artificial intelligence. I put this prompt in. I use ChatGPT, and this is the prompt. Nothing more, nothing less. This is the prompt I put into ChatGPT to create a PowerPoint presentation. I didn't even know it could do that. Hello, fam? Do you hear me? I did not even know that ChatGPT could create PowerPoint presentations for you. That's why I put, are you able to create PowerPoint presentations? Question mark. I'm fat fingering keys. There's a Stanford report I would like to review with my YouTube audience via PowerPoint. Here is an article about the report. I'm sure you can find source documents. I put that first article in there, and then I also put the full report in there. Do you understand what I'm saying? Is it hitting home? That I literally was able to make this PowerPoint presentation in a matter of minutes. Now, full transparency, there was some formatting things that I had to change around to fix. But all the content, everything was literally created by AI. It literally was like, download here. This is the prompt I put in to create the PowerPoint presentation you've just been watching. And after I put that in there, then it started doing the code in the background. I was like, all right, bet. Working. I feel like it took more time than that, but it says it took 1 minute and 14 seconds to go ahead and review the article, review the 56-page PDF file, and then extrapolate the information and create that PowerPoint presentation for me. This image was created from ChatGPT. Don't ask me why I chose a brother to go ahead and be like, that's the brother right there. We're going to put a brother on there. This entire image was created in ChatGPT. ChatGPT. Just to refresh your memory and remind you. Do you understand? So you're not going to be able to be like, oh, it's too much for me. I don't know about using this generative AI stuff, and I don't know. I'm just too old. I'm not really tech savvy. You about to lose your job. I don't know how to make no PowerPoint presentation. And I did this in a couple minutes off this script. All right, fam, I'm done. I know it says we've been up on here for a long time. We have a little bit. Technically, this is probably going to be about an hour long total. I'm going to have to go ahead and cut out about 35 minutes from this. So if you're going to rewatch this presentation, just fast forward 35 minutes until I start talking again. All right, because basically for 35 minutes, I'm up on here going through all this information, and y'all couldn't even hear me. I don't know what happened with this program, but for some reason it was raggedy. So I had to then pause, regroup, refocus, which was hard, and then redo the presentation again. So what I will say is that by tomorrow sometime, once this video finishes processing, I'll go ahead and edit it so that it just starts from the time when we fully started. All right. That being said, we're done. But that's the reason why I'm so passionate. Okay. We're doing this Hebrews in Tech Bootcamp for employment and the Tech Plus certification to get you guys on the right track. All right. I don't want y'all to sleep on this. Okay. Do not sleep on this. Jay Highstyle, I see you say email. Email is there. GetCertified at HebrewConnect.com. I'll answer your emails and any questions you have. You can also give me a call at Hebrew Connect Media. That is our company. And if I'm available, not in a meeting, I can answer the phone and pick up and see what's up. If you have more of a ministry question or a personal issue, no trolling, you can hit me up at 706. Oh, I'm tired. I don't want to say the wrong phone number. I'll put it in the chat. I can't think straight right now. But if you want to get a hold of me, you can get a hold of me, right? So again, the Get Certified Hebrews in Tech, all right, it's $250. This includes your exam voucher. This also includes your official student study guide. And this is a 10-week training course. It begins Sunday, September 7th. It runs from 10 a.m. Central Standard Time to 2:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Add an hour if you're Eastern. Subtract an hour if you're Mountain. Subtract 2 hours if you're Pacific Standard Time. Thursdays in the evenings, for those of you that got to go to work, I understand, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. All right. We're going to be doing a Employment and Tech Plus Bootcamp. So we're going to be going over your resume. We're going to be going over your LinkedIn profile. We're going to be going over mock interviews with you. Okay. We're going to make sure that we tailor your resume to a few different career paths. All right. We're going to do a whole workup on you when it comes to the employment side. And then we're also going to be going over pretty much everything you could think of when it comes to technology, including artificial intelligence and generative AI. Okay. And so the path that we're going to go on is essentially, this is the path I'm on. Okay. One, those of you looking to get this experience, do not sleep on this. Use your credit card if you have to. Like, it's that important, because number one, you're going to get a certificate of completion. And number two, if you're dedicated and complete through all that, you're going to get an exam voucher to go ahead and take the actual certification. This is not a certificate. This is a certification. You are basically going to be able to hold up a piece of paper that says that CompTIA, which is an international body organization, vouches for you that you know your stuff. Okay? This is not a certificate of completion. A lot of folks get do load and they get a certificate and they think they're doing something. Nobody really cares about, I gotta be 100 with you. Nobody fully really cares about your LinkedIn certificate. They just don't. Okay? They're good to have. I would do them and add them on there, but don't think you're going to get that amazing 6-figure job you're looking for because you got a certificate. You need certification. You need credentials. Okay? So I'm not going to belabor that. Bottom line, we're going to begin with the Tech Plus certification. Once we're done with that, those of you that are in that cohort, we are then going to progress on to Linux Plus. We'll give you some time to go ahead and get, take a break and recoup and all that kind of stuff. But then we're going to transition and do an offering for Linux Plus. All right, because that's critical right now. Highly critical right now. Okay. And just these 2 certs alone is going to pay you multiples over what most of y'all are getting paid right now in these streets. Okay. After that, it's your choice. I would say you got to do at least one of these additional certifications, and that's going to be Network Plus. I don't think it's possible for you to get into cybersecurity without having a Network Plus background. You can make somebody some coffee or something like that, do their laundry or something, but you're not going to be able to really be for real cybersecurity professional if you don't know networking. So we're going to do Network Plus certification to get you certified in Network Plus. That's going to open a lot more doors for you as well. Okay. Then only for those of you that want to continue on down the path of infrastructure or architecture, we will then move forward into Cloud Plus. Okay. For cloud computing. And again, for our Tech Plus training, we're going to go into cloud computing as well, but not at the level we're going to go through it for the Cloud Plus certification. All right. And then lastly, this is the level that I'm on, right? Cybersecurity. Those of you that want to go into cybersecurity, we'll make sure you get that CISA Plus or Cybersecurity Analyst Plus certification. And then we'll make sure probably after a while in the season, we're going to do the Security X, which is the pinnacle of the CompTIA certifications. And at this level, you definitely already at the 6-figure land. You're a strong 6-figure here. Okay. Here, you're like high 5-figure, like you're close to 90,000 and 110,000. So you're just now breaking into the 6-figure land here. Okay. And then here, you're in the realm of between, like the report said, $22,000 a year, because I don't know why you chose that job, $22,000 a year to $92,000 a year. So there are people that they literally have this certification by itself, and they're making $92,000 a year. Now that's on the high side, obviously. I would say realistically, you're going to be looking at between, I'd say, oh man, if you really desperate, 35,000 to 60,000 off this cert alone. That being said, you have to have confidence. You have to, and you have to feel me when I say that. You really got to have confidence. You cannot be book smart and timid as hell and think you're going to get the job, because you're not. I'm going to hire somebody that has more experience than you, overqualified than you, or whatever. Even if I could pay you less money, you're not giving me the warm and fuzzy that you know what you're talking about. So yeah, I'm going to skip over you and go with somebody else. Okay. So no matter what certification training you get, I'm going to be on you like white on rice in regards to establishing a level of confidence. I'm not banging on you and beating you up just because. I'm trying to provoke you to level up to where when you do enter the room and you do have that interview, you can speak on these issues with boldness and confidence. It's not going to be rote memorization. You will have had some experiential knowledge in this this track that we're going on. And then the last thing I'm going to say, the very, very last thing I'm going to say in regards to all this is that it's very important that we as a community give back to our people and give back to the youth. What does that look like? What does that mean? That means we, including myself, need to do apprenticeships. We need to do hands-on training within our community, right? So even myself, I raise my hand in regards to the situation. We need to provide opportunities for you to gain experience. We have to. All right. So for me, I have Hebrew Connect Media, right? I have HebrewConnect.com. I have Hebrew Connect TV. We have our sister company, Hosted Light, which is a web hosting company, right? I need to make sure that there's opportunities within our community for you as a student in the field that I'm most proficient in, which is technology, that as you go through these different training programs, why wouldn't I provide an opportunity for you to also get some hands-on experience? Some hands-on experience dealing with cloud technologies, some hands-on experience working with generative AI at an appropriate level. Having a knowledge, be able to speak on these matters. And then when you go ahead and put your resume in, you can say, oh yeah, I have 2 years experience or 1 year experience working for Hosted Light Solutions or Hebrew Connect Media LLC. I don't care what your business is or what you got going on. We have to provide opportunities for the younger generation that's coming up that need an opportunity, because simply having a degree and a piece of paper is not going to be enough. The employers are going to want to see that you have experience. I'm done. I think we've hit everything we got to hit. Like I said, I will go ahead and edit this either later tonight, or tomorrow morning. I will then go ahead and edit this so that there's not 35 minutes of silence going on like happened the first go around. All right, fam. That being said, you guys have a great evening. Get some rest. Tomorrow's hump day. We almost to Shabbat. It's all good. And I pray this has been a blessing to you. Those of you that are still here in the building, leave me a comment either now or before you shut that phone device down. Was this beneficial to you? Did you learn anything this evening that you didn't know previously? Anything surprise you about the information that was provided, or the fact that at the end of the day, I whipped up that PowerPoint presentation via ChatGPT in 2 minutes? All right, fam. You guys have a blessed evening. The next time I talk to you likely will be tomorrow. It will be more ministry related, definitely dealing with the issues surrounding Donald Trump and his activities, and a vision that the Most High showed me about a week and a half ago. And it's definitely very challenging. But we got to get into all that. All right. So realistically, most likely you guys will see me again tomorrow and we'll spend some time going over that and some of the hot topic issues for the country. All right. Have a good night. Shalom. Talk to you soon. And again, we have, I don't know, like I said, about 12 positions left. So maybe this is not for you. Maybe you're not in the space for it. But let people know that this boot camp for employment and the Tech Plus certification is available. All right. Do not pass this opportunity by, because like I said, things are changing so rapidly and so quickly. Many of us may not have an opportunity like this again. It's hard to focus when you living out your car and you know what I'm saying? Ducking from the repo man. I don't mean to laugh about it, because I've been there myself. I've had the repo man come get me one time when I was a kid, when I was a youth, right? You know, while you got it and while the opportunity is available, jump on the opportunity, because again, nobody's really safe right now. Now, if you're more mature and you have experience, we're seeing that you have a greater level of job security than some of these younger folks. But we have so many of our youth between the ages of 16 and 25 that's in for a world of hurt, because that degree you got don't mean doo-doo. And you just mad. And I mean, I couldn't imagine being a young person right now, starting out in life right now. It's anyway. Let's work it out, fam.